Greetings commanders and welcome back to another Warpath video. My name is Eagle and this is going to be the first video of the beginner's guides series. So we're going to be doing a couple of videos over the next few days of which we will be focusing on some tips and guides to help you throughout your early game in Warpath and help accelerate your development in this game early on. So this video we're going to be focusing on giving you some tips that we have learned throughout playing this game itself. As you can see, this is kind of a new account I created just specifically for this video, and we're gonna also be giving you some tips that we have learned from other RTS games that will definitely help you out in this game as well. So make sure to stick around to know more about these tips. Alright, so the first tip that we want to talk about in this video is map exploration and rewards. So if you zoom out over here, you can see this is kind of a brand new map. This server opened like about 3 hours ago, and this map is still kind of foggy, unexplored, and it does have a lot of goodies that you can definitely benefit from. So the fastest way to explore this map and kind of like uncover this fog, all this fog, so that you can unlock the rewards, is simply by looking for these specific dots over here. Now these dots are simply just your whenever you join an alliance and there's like a player's base that is outside alliance territory, you would have access to that area and it will look exactly like this. So technically, if you click any of the edges over here, you can send out your scout planes to this specific location all the way from your base. And the cool thing about this is that it will not only explore this specific area that is pointed here in the map, but it will also explore everything on the way. So as you can see, it will create something similar to this kind of path that we have created over here. This is technically the fastest way to explore the map on the before you hit level 13 or HQ 13, and I will tell you exactly why in a second. Now over here, the way that you want to do this is that you want to make sure that your line, this green line over here, hits right on the edge of the scouting so that you don't miss any spots like the spot that I have right over here in the middle. So this way you would explore the majority of the area without having to miss a spot or something like that in that area. And the fastest way to know if you have explored something in that area, if you click the search button over here on the map on the left side, and it will tell you exactly what things that are in that area. So as you can see, we can see here we have some plunder boxes that will give us tons of gold in this specific section, and we have also a couple of boxes right over here in the area that we are right in. Now this is the fastest way you can explore the map and get all these goodies in the early game, especially if you're thinking to create some sort of a jumper account using your beginner's teleport, which we're going to be talking about in a separate video, like probably the next one or so. But this is mainly the first tip that I want to give you about the map exploration. Now the second tip will be focused on campaign rewards and passive resources generation. So as you can see in this section over here to the left, you have the rewards efficiency, which will basically tells you that you will be gaining these amount of resources or rewards on an hourly basis. Now the higher that you go in the ranks of the campaign itself, these rewards will spike up a lot, especially in the early stages. So you'll start off with a couple of thousands, and then you will start gaining tens of thousands, especially in this mission right over here, the one before the one that I'm currently on. When you finish that, you will double up your experience points for ground forces, which is really important, especially in the early game, because you want to try to maximize those on an hourly basis so that you would be advancing more in terms of units production, and also you would be able to buy more stuff from the store that is over here, which also will help you out a lot in the early game. Upgrading your units is a crucial thing to gain those to go up the campaign, so make sure you do that as well. And in terms of power in the campaign, power is actually very important in terms of units. However, there's a lot, like a big part over here on the strategy that you follow throughout the campaign missions. So if you lose a campaign mission just because you clicked on auto attack, make sure you give it another shot where you manually select your units and actually place them in positions that are strategically focused on how to win that specific mission in the campaign. We're going to be talking more about this in future videos on how to actually select some combat strategies that would definitely help you out in the campaign, using your air forces as well to utilize those levels and get you to the next level, even if your units are not necessarily as strong as the ones that you are facing within your enemies. So make sure to stick around for those kind of videos. And if you're liking the video so far, hit that subscribe button down there and consider giving it a like. That will help us a lot grow the community. Thank you so much. Talking about rushing through the campaign levels does require one very important thing, which are unit upgrades. Stronger units means that you will go higher up in those levels and you will be able to take out a higher level of Raven units, and in addition to that, you will be able to defend your base from stronger opponents. Therefore, upgrading your units early on is super important. I understand that the unit system might actually be very confusing in the beginning of the game because you're just getting started with this game. There's a lot of units to look at and you're still not quite sure which path you should be focusing on, and that is completely fine. However, there's something over here in the this assembly plan. You can just go simply over here and click on whatever unit you have, and you can restore all the experience points and bullets that you have spent on that specific unit fully back, while just only spending 20 gold. Now 20 gold is a very small percentage or amount of basically the amount that you would be spending on other events, or you would be even gaining from the game itself. That's why this is a very cool feature that will help you out then decide which units that you should be going for by restoring, like for example, an unwanted unit. Like for example, this is just a 4-star unit. I don't want it. I can simply click restore and I would have all the supplies that I spent on this unit given back to me, so that I would spend it on another unit to upgrade it furthermore. Yet, for example, if I decide to go with another path of units. Now this is a very cool feature that the game has, because it does allow you to kind of versatile which units that you want to go for and which paths you're kind of focusing on at this specific point, and it will help you out big time in the early game so that you can upgrade all your units at once, and then afterwards you would be able to switch to different units path that you would then decide to go for. So this is a very cool feature. Definitely upgrade your units to the maximum stage that you can at the early game, and it will definitely help you out with the campaign and whatnot. Now let's talk about the buildings. There are a couple of structures that are super important to focus on in the early game because they help you out a lot in your development. The first structure that I definitely recommend focusing on is the engineering center. The higher that you actually upgrade this structure, the faster that you will be producing resources, hence developing your structures and even going to higher levels, and you will be able even to unlock another production line. So as you can see at level 17, when this structure reaches level 17, you'll be able to unlock a third production line, which will help you even produce more resources simultaneously at the same time. This definitely helps out a lot because these resources are very much required for everything or all the structures that you're trying to develop in your base, and it is very important. Now, hitting the milestone of the command center level 13 is a big step in your base. It does give you a lot of things. So for starters, if you hit the air base or the Air Force base to level 13, this would allow you, or this would unlock a feature that is called automatic scouting, which basically means that if you send out your scout planes for searching, like to explore the fog, you would be able to automatically, or these planes will be able to automatically explore the map while you are online. So the only thing that you would need to do is just stay online or open your game on an emulator, for example, and the scout planes will automatically explore the map for you. This is definitely a very handful feature, especially because it just gets ridiculous to keep sending those scout planes over and over to explore the map, and it does help you out a lot in your development because you will be able to even get a lot of supplies and materials from the different warehouses and supply areas that you will be unlocking throughout the map. The second reason why hitting level 13 command center is super important is because it unlocks 3 new buildings or 3 new structures that are already in your base, but you cannot upgrade them. You have the wall over here, you have the watchtower, and the AA fire base. these three structures over here are very, very important to maintain a solid defense and garrison of your base. Upgrading those will be very crucial afterwards because you would need to protect your base from enemy attacks, and these three structures will help you out a lot during that period. Now, these are basically the most important structures at the beginning of the game. Of course, you have the research center over here. It is very important to upgrade it because it will unlock you new researches. You can grow up in the path of research, and it will even further increase the research speed for you. It doesn't increase it significantly high. However, with the levels, you'll be able to get a good percentage out of that for sure. Obviously, every other structure that is military based, for example, the barracks over here, is very important to upgrade. However, make sure that you are focusing on hitting milestones with the barracks rather than trying to upgrade them all to the same level. Now, this is one thing that you might actually do wrong in your early game because you will be focusing on all the barracks, hitting them to the same level, but that's actually not a great strategy to go on. Instead, you can just focus on 2 barracks, getting them to a really high level and making sure that you hit those milestones over here. So for example, as you can see, at level 9 you get even more firepower from your troops over there. At level 13 you get higher durability, and hitting those milestones with the barracks is actually more important than just upgrading the barracks' level. So make sure that you hit those milestones with like specific barracks rather than having all the barracks at a specific low level in your game. Now, we have talked about the structures, but we haven't talked about production queues. Now, there's something unique about this game is that the structures over here, or the development system in this game, doesn't actually require time to be upgraded. However, they do require supplies and resources. And trust me when I tell you, supplies are the most important thing kind of in the early game over here, simply because you would be able to upgrade your base. It's literally the only way to upgrade your base. And gaining supplies, you can gain those from multiple other places. For example, you can gain them from exploring the map, you can gain them from events, and most importantly, from the engineering center. Now, this structure over here is basically where you can produce supplies. And as you can see, this queue over here is probably one of the most important queues in the game because you want to try to maintain a good stock of your supplies for events and basically just for your daily upgrades. This building must not go idle because it is very, very important. Basically, if this building goes idle, that means that you're kind of not playing the game, simply because those like resources and like stocks or supplies will be used at every single stage within the game. You have multiple other supplies over here that you will be unlocking whenever this like structure hits a specific level. So make sure always to have this building running with supplies at all times. Now, some of the stuffs that will help you out increasing the queue, and you know, whenever you sleep at night, you would want this to run all night. Probably you won't get that in the first week because, you know, the maximum that I can do right now is like 4 hours, and you want like that to go for 8 to 9 hours so that you won't go idle. However, that's completely fine. It will be solved when you unlock the I-beams. The I-beams will solve that problem for you. They will be going for more than 8 hours, which is like if you have a full queue of them, which will definitely help you out a lot. And another tip that I could give you over here is the VIP. If you go over here and try to reach VIP 4 or 5, it will increase your production queue length by 5, which will definitely help you out a lot, increasing that timer over there and having less idle queues in this structure. Now, another thing that is similar to that is the research center. The research center is a very, very important structure. Your queues over here, or one queue, should be always running at all time. And the reason why I have 2 queues right now over here is because I bought this kind of arms deal. It's like a monthly subscription that you can buy. It does help you out a lot. It gives you another tech queue. It gives you recruitment speed and production speed added to your like roster. In addition to that, you will be able to gain some cool resources and rewards on a daily basis. Now, These thing or this one over here is one of the probably most important bundles that I see because of the tech queue. It does give you a lot of value to have another tech queue running at the same time, because you'll be running those at double time, which is very, very helpful, and it does give you an edge over your opponents. So if you're thinking to spending some money over the game, this is definitely one of the bundles that I do highly recommend, especially in the early game, that will help you out a lot in your like development in the early stages. One thing that you will come across in the early game, and you will find it really hard, which is doing those researches, especially in the military section over here. Those big ones over here do require a lot of time, considering that is still the beginning of the research tree or tech tree in the early game. Now this one over here takes about 16.5 hours, and that's literally the third research yet over here, which is a significant amount of time. However, there are multiple ways to reduce this timer, one of which that significantly does help in that is joining an active alliance. So if you go over here to the alliance tab and then you go to the assess section, you will be able to see that we were able to successfully reduce the amount of, for example, fire projection theory to level 3 by 14 minutes just from 5 assists. And the reason why this is very effective, and it gets even better when the research timers are even higher, is because it does give you like a percentage reduction over the research timer. Meaning that if the research, for example, takes 100 days, for every 1 assist, you'll be able to reduce that timer for a specific amount of time, plus 1% of the total amount of time that the research requires. So that does help out a lot, especially in the early game. So for example, if we have a 16-hour research over here, so 1% of that is about 16 minutes, I think. If my math is right, probably that's wrong, but you can get the math. So 1% of the total research time over there is reduced from 1 assist. So imagine having here like 13 or 14 assists. So that is 14% of the total research time of that specific research, plus the amount of time that is already reduced by the assistance over here, and which can be increased then from your alliance research. Somewhere over here, one of these researches does give you out or does help you out. I think this is the one. It uses the building resources time. No, this is not the one. So one of these researchers does help you out with decreasing the time as well. In addition to that, you would have the alliance gifts over here, which gives you some additional speed ups, experience points, and VIP points, which will help you out in that as well. Especially if you are joining one of the top alliances, you will be seeing a lot of those gifts that will definitely help you out in your progression as well in that matter. The last tip that I want to give you is a tip that I've learned from all the RTS war games that I've played before, is smartly spend your resources. And by resources, I don't only mean the resources that you see up there, which are the cash, steel, and oil, but I also mean your supplies and your speed ups. And the reason being is that this event is, or this game is very eventful. It has a lot of events that will reward you for your development and for the basic things that you do on a regular basis, which is basically just researching structures or researching tech and upgrading structures and whatnot. All those like supplies and stuff, if you save them for the right timing, you will be able to gain a lot of additional rewards just for spending those like resources at the right time. And by that, one of the events that I really like about this event, and it's very free-to-play friendly, which is jurisdiction. Now, this event over here rewards you or gives you like a point system for basically developing a specific thing in your base, be it a structure, be it a research, or even using your co-bones over here, or like these ones over here, the universal ones, just for gaining additional units in to your arsenal. Now, this is also very important because you can not only use this event for your upgrades, but you can also combine multiple events. I do believe that there's another event that's going to be happening in 2 to 3 weeks from the server opening. That event, if you combine it with jurisdiction, you will be able to gain double the rewards for just developing your base. Now, this is a very important tip that I think if you utilize very well, you will be able to gain additional rewards that will help you even further develop your base and accelerate your production. This is one of the things that I do recommend a lot, especially if you're a free-to-play player and you're patient enough to do these upgrades on the right time. You'll be able to get a lot of additional stuff. And basically that was it for the tips that I wanted to give you today. If you did like those tips or you did learn a thing or two, consider subscribing to the channel and even liking the video. We will be doing a lot of these videos in the next few days, so make sure to tune in. And we will also be doing a Discord server, probably announce it in the next video, in the community Discord server, just for us to share, like kind of get a community bound together and share additional tips and guides over there as well. And you can also ask experienced commanders and officers and myself as well over there some questions if you are just a beginner to the game and you would like to know more about the game as well. I'll link to that all in the description below, and we'll definitely see you in the next video.